Lord of the Rings Online has one of the best free-to-play systems in any MMORPG. One of the downsides of free-to-play is travel and just the amount of time you invest in traveling from point to point. But in modern-day Lotro, there are many tips and tricks to get around the world faster. Here are 5 tips on traveling for free-to-play accounts. Okay, so the first tip is mission traveling. So there is a regular stable master right here. This is a mariner, and I have basically just leveled him to 29. He's basically vanilla, very new. And as you see over here on the left, almost all of these are yellowed, meaning I haven't discovered them. And if you hover over it, says I have to pay, I have to be a subscriber, or I have to pay Mithril coin to travel here. So that's pretty typical of a free-to-play. All these places are going to be unavailable. I actually already discovered West Bree. I think this is not available right away, which is really inconvenient because Bree is really important. So, how do you navigate this? Because you'll see this all the time if you're free-to-play. If you are a subscriber, this will alleviate almost all of those, I believe. Sometimes you still have to travel, but
Greetings, friend.
a subscriber, you get a lot of these perks of travel. But if you go over here across from that regular stable master, you find the mission recruiter stable master.
How can I be of service?
These are available to both VIP accounts and free-to-play accounts, and these are instant travel. And the reason this is super helpful is you can go to Cardlin, you can go to Elderslade, Erebor, Gundabad, Swanfleet, North Downs, Umbar. Now, I have also done a video on this as well. There's not a travel to Bree, but there's kind of like there's a pattern in these. If you travel to like Elderslade instantly, I'm level 29. Elderslade is like level 130 content. Well, if you immediately go to this stable master, now I can travel to South Bree. And I can also travel to Kellamdim, which is the elf starting zone, and Thorin's Gate, which is the dwarf starting zone. And Mekkel Delving is the hobbit starting zone. So sometimes you kind of have to get in here and learn and memorize which one is which, but I always take the swift travel to Elderslade, and then from Elderslade to South Bree. Okay, so we took that mission from Elderslade to South Bree. Now we're at South Bree.
How can I be of service?
If you look here, a lot of, like almost all of these are unavailable for me to travel. Now I have Mithril coins. I don't use those unless like it's really necessary. If you wanted to, you could. But at that point, if you're paying money for Mithril coins, you might as well just be a VIP. So this is targeted at a free-to-play account. Okay, so I'm going to show you some specific travel ones I just recently found, because there's all kinds of little workaround systems. So one of the more annoying places to get to is Rivendell. And I've shown this in another video, but I thought redundancy. Like when you travel on Lone Lands, it's like level 20. I'm past that, but I haven't even played there because I've been in Cardlin. It's like 23, 24. So if you go to Rivendell, there's a couple really cool tricks in travel. But if I scroll down to the bottom, Trollshaw's Rivendell, I can't travel there. But if I go to Ettenmoors, Ettenmoors is the PvP zone, and it's free to travel. So from South Bree, I can travel here. Now that I am in the Ettenmoors, this stable master, I can go to the 4 major zones, including Rivendell stables. So that, I'm pretty sure I only have 2 or 3 accounts that have the actual Rivendell stables discovered. Because on all my other characters, and I think I have like 14, I just use the Ettenmoors to Rivendell.
Hail, friend, and well met.
Okay, now that you're in Rivendell, you have 2 options here. You have the Stable Master, who, this is all pretty, honestly, too high level for me, and it's like Trollshaw's. So I really can't go anywhere other than Ettenmoors. This guy here is an Assistant Stable Master. I think he was added later on in the game. And I noticed the other day that on a free-to-play account with like no unlocks, I can travel to Baal Avark, which is in Angmar. So we're going to travel here, quick travel, and I'll show you why this is important when I get there. Alright, so quick travel. So this was introduced, I believe, in the Return to Carm Doom raid thing that came out recently in the last couple of years. So this is for like super high level. This was, I think, a quality of life to get the people that wanted to raid this instant here quickly. But see, I'm a level 29. I'm not high level. The reason this is also cool is if I zoom out, we are in Carm Doom up here to the north of Angmar. If you're not familiar, Melonhead right here has a travel barrier that if you pass through that, you will die instantly unless you've done the quest line. So if you've not kept up with the main quest chain to disable this death barrier, you won't be able to progress further east into Angmar, therefore not being able to do the main story of the original game. I found that out on a character and couldn't find the quest chain to get past this wall, so I had to pay for Mithril coin to get to Gath Forthner. So, in theory, if you were a higher level and you leveled, you Valor boosted or whatever, and you couldn't get past that death wall, you could use this hack to get on the other side of the death wall and come down here to Gath Forthner. Okay, so the other cool tip about the travel point in Angmar, we're still in Carm Doom. If you click the Stable Master here in Carm Doom, you actually have a swift travel to Esteldin. Now, I haven't unlocked this. On my other character I loaded it in on, I was actually able to travel here swiftly. This might be worth a Mithril coin, because Esteldin is in the North Downs, and it's a really important main hub. So I just thought that was interesting that they put Esteldin there, and hopefully that is helpful. I've unlocked that on a couple of my characters, because the only other way to get to Esteldin would be either the slow way from Bree to Trestle Bridge. You could use the Mission Stable Master. If I go to Mission Stable Master, then I can travel to Trestle Bridge, which is in North Down. Sorry for all the map clicking. But even from Trestle Bridge, I believe it's a slow travel. And it takes a long time to get to Esteldin with slow travel. So I'm back here at a camp, and I can swift travel to Trestle Bridge, and we will double check this. I believe this to be true. Okay, see, we're in Trestle Bridge. That was pretty quick. But even from Trestle Bridge, if I go over to the regular Stable Master, I believe it's like a 5 to 10 minute travel point to Esteldin. I haven't discovered this either.
What can I do for you?
Yeah, so here's Esteldin here. So that's two options to get to Esteldin. A mission travel to Trestle Bridge, and a slow travel from Trestle Bridge to Esteldin. Or you could Rivendell, Angmar to Esteldin, and that would be instant travels. Okay, so another travel tip. This is kind of a sort of exploit, but not like I'm not breaking the game. I'm just using a quick travel of the game, but maybe not as intended. So I'm here in Rivendell. On this ridge right here, it'd be east of the guest house. Right here is a NPC with a quest. Now, if I click on this guy,
Might you spare a moment?
it'll say you travel to the last bridge immediately. And I've been using this on some of my low-level characters as well. I'll show you where this sends you. This sends you to the last bridge, which is the very beginning of the Trollshaws. So I've been using this if I need to get to the Trollshaws, or if I want to do the Angle of Mathithel, or if I haven't been to Oscaruth yet in the Lone Lands, I can travel to the Lost Bridge, the last bridge, and I'm pretty close to Oscaruth on this side. As opposed to if I come from the Bree Land or from Cardolin, I get to the Forsaken Inn and I have to travel a really long way to Oscaruth. So this is actually a really cool little way to get to the beginning of the Trollshaws. So, for example, I was in the tier where I needed to get here on my minstrel to gather lumber. and I hadn't discovered any of these things, so I quick traveled from here, and then all I do is the quest, the last bridge, I just cancel it. So now if I go back to Rivendell, that quest will be there again, and so it's kind of a free port to the middle of the Trollshaws. So just something that I use every now and then when I need to get to this zone quickly, because you don't come to the zone very often. Okay, another free-to-play travel trip in Lotro is actually related to the Ettenmoors. Somebody in the comments let me know this one. I didn't realize this was a thing. If you go to the Ettenmoors in Glan Vireg, if you talk to Sergeant at Arms right here, pick up the tutorial
Could I
quest.
speak with you a moment?
You have to talk to a captain, which is right here. You talk to him.
Elberath will avenge me.
You pick up the next tutorial, Outfitted for
Surely
Battle.
you have the time to listen to my tale.
Then you talk to the heavy armor trader, accept that quest, go back to the captain, and then accept this one, and then you actually get a map to travel to the Ettenmoors, this camp here, which would shorten your travel to Rivendell, Rivendell being that hub that we showed in this video of all the other additional quick travel in the free-to-play. So that's a nice little tip.